So today we're going to talk about all the hot chocolate bombs and the different ways we can do them. And let me move my camera so you guys can see, but I've got all of my chocolate right here. So I have the regular milk chocolate. I definitely do like the milk, and I use the big Calabo chocolate blocks, but you can use the Calettes, which is their version of a chip, but you just don't want an actual like Nestle chocolate chip because the coating on it makes it so like when you make chocolate chip cookies, your chocolate chip doesn't melt, it stays in kind of a chocolate chip form. So you can use these, but then I also have the wafers. So I have the wafers in the pink, in the red, and then I have it in the white, and I use Merkins. I have absolutely used the Walmart one. I think it's like a Choco Maker. I use Wilton. I prefer like the flavor of Merkins, which is really the reason why I use it. And I wanted to kind of show you both the milk chocolate and the wafer, so I should say the real chocolate and the wafer, so that you can kind of see how each of them work, and they work perfectly the same. It's all in how you like lazy temper it. So we're gonna put all this on. As you can see, I was already dipping, and that's why it's all like been previously melted. So I'm gonna put it on a double boiler, just like I did in the small class. When you put it on the double boiler, you just want to make sure that when you lift your bowl back up, your bowl's dry. So you never want your water to touch the bowl, or else it will heat it at a higher rate, and then you'll burn your chocolate. All right, so I put my heat on like a low medium, just because I have a tendency to forget, and then you never have to worry about it burning. All right, so they're melting. Come, you shall see. I will take you over on a tour. Melting. And all I'm really waiting for is just a little rim around it to melt up. And so then I can use the heat of the melted chocolate to continue melting the unmelted chocolate. All right, so everyone has ordered or has some form of I use the silicone ones, the 2.5 inch little, I think it's called the sphere. The link was on there. And so that's what I use. I have used the 3 1/15, I think it's called. And those are great. You just have to make sure that everyone understands it really goes into one of those nice oversized mugs. So if you stick with this 2.5, you're in the standard good old coffee cup, no matter what it is. All right. Let's also talk about, while we're waiting, we'll talk about our cocoa powder. All right. I just stumbled upon this, but I kind of love it. It is the Ghirardelli, which I put on the thing for everyone to get. You can absolutely use any cocoa powder you love. You do not need to use this. I just found it and worked all my recipes based on it, but you can use anything. Like, just taste it. So I like the double chocolate. As you'll see in the recipes, it's kind of like my main one for everything, like all the neutral flavors. And then this one is a caramel, which I'm gonna be honest, I think it's being discontinued. So I may have like bought every single one at Wegmans that I found. If it is, it's just gonna require to use like a regular hot chocolate with like a ton of caramel chips in it, more than you would normally need. And then I got the Mocha. So I completely think that you can turn these things into like adult ones, but you can pour anything over them. So I sell them as you pour the milk over them, because that's generally what you would do, but you can pour coffee over it and make it more of an adult thing. So like in the summer or the spring, when we can't really sell them to the public, because I know by me in Virginia, no one's drinking hot cocoa when it's 90, but you can sell them as corporate gifts, or they can have it as office gifts and they just pour their coffee over it. You can turn them into adult versions, you know, you can, with like the Mexican hot chocolate, add Fireball. With any of them, you can add like Kahlua or Irish cream, you know, and add yourself, but you don't want to put any liquids in it, because now the amount of time that your liquid is sitting in there, like if you were making it for like a same day use, you would be fine. But the liquid is going to eat at the chocolate. And these things have a shelf life. I have one going for 4 weeks now, but it's chocolate and it's cocoa powder, and all of these things have a long shelf life. So they're not going to go anywhere. But you start putting weird things in it, like a liquid or something, then I think you would have a problem. Let's see. Does anyone have any questions so far about the chocolate or the cocoa powder? No? No? Awesome. All right, let's come over here and we'll check our chocolate again and we'll see how it's going. So you see how I'm starting to get a little melted? And here I'm starting to see it's turning. I'm starting to get a little melted. So what I'll do is I'm going to turn off the white because I don't want to burn it. And I'm going to be busy playing with my milk. So I'm going to turn my white off, but leave it on the double boiler. So the heat from the water is still going to continue to melt, but it's not adding an aggravated amount of heat. All right. Since I have countertops that do not like heat, I usually put down an oven mitt with a towel on top. And then I always leave my double boiler together so that it's still always maintaining the same temperature and I'm never losing heat. So let me bring you guys in so you can really see. So you see how it's melting, and this melted chocolate is what is going to melt the rest of your chocolate, but then keeping it in that temper zone. So, which means that you're not overheating it. And I know I talked about this in both the other classes, but I did see someone say like one of the best ways to test that you're never overheating is just dab it on your wrist. And if it's cool to the touch, you're still totally good. When it starts to get hot, and I think it's like over 110, that's when you're in the zone that you're going to be out of temper. So you always want to keep it cool. And so you see how I'm mixing this and it's not doing anything? Yes, you see that? So then I say, back to the heat. It's not done yet, which is totally fine, because the slower you go, you can always add more heat. You can't take it away. So we will, see, I was dipping earlier today. All right. And then I'm lazy and I always leave everything in it. Okay, so let's look down here and let's see how our white's doing. So I see Karen has joined us. Hello, Karen. You are on mute, but if you would like to talk, feel free to unmute. If you have any questions or anything, do not be afraid to stop me and say, whoa, 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 wait, go back. I need to talk to you about this.
Will I be able to see the class since I just joined? Will I be able to see the class when it's finished?
Yes, so the whole video of everything since we started, and literally we started about 5 minutes ago, the whole video will be put into the event and you can watch it as many times as you want.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the heat with this. I didn't want to preheat everything, so I kind of really wanted you to see it kind of in action. So you felt like, for everyone who really isn't doing it with me, while you're melting your chocolate, you'd be like, oh my gosh, look, her chocolate did not melt either. And we're kind of doing it together. So let's talk about, anyone have any issues with chocolate? Confusing? Are you comfortable melting chocolate? Has it been a problem for you? No? Don't leave me hanging, folks. All right. The other thing I want to talk about is when your chocolate gets too hot and it seizes up. And you know it seizes up because it kind of turns into this like chalky, gross situation, and you're like, it's not ribbony and liquidy. And I know the first thing that you're like to do is like, oh my gosh, maybe I should add oil or some sort of fat or cream. So the problem is that when you're doing something like this, where you need your chocolate to harden, you can't add an oil or any cream or anything because then your chocolate will never harden. So like ganache is cream. So you would essentially be turning it into a ganache. Or kind of like, you know, when you get like a Dairy Queen and they dip it and it kind of hardens, but it's still not rock solid. That is like if you added oil to it. So depending on how much you add is depending on how hard it'll get. But it'll never turn into that nice, hard chocolate shell that we're looking for if you add any oil to it. So let's see how this is going.
Melissa?
Yes.
It's Karen. One thing I found is that you have to make sure your double boiler doesn't run out of water. And I had that happen to 2 pots. And that was a disaster.
So what I do is I put enough water in it where it is just under the bowl. So that way it's not on the heat as much. It will get to temperature quicker because you have more water in there that you're heating. But yeah, you know, you're right. If you run out of water, you're like, it's a problem. It is definitely an issue. And then also what I do, it's kind of like no different than like if you're heating potatoes or eggs or whatever. I don't put my chocolate on a pot of water that's already boiling unless I'm going to stand and watch it because it will go really, really fast. So I kind of let everybody get hot together and then I find I don't burn it. But when you get it into that nice ribbony, liquidy, good tempered quality, you can actually take it off of the heat and it will stay in that zone for quite some time. I just found that I leave it on my boiler and then I never have to think about it. And I am done before my chocolate's done. So as you can see, we're getting there. We just have some big chunks. Which is probably my fault because when I chop my chocolate, I didn't chop it small enough. So chop it smaller and then you go faster. So let's see. So this will completely melt. I'm not going to put it back on the heat. I'm just going to put it over here, to let it finish melting and check on our way. All right. Let me check. And then I've also found, especially if you are dipping, well, I found this with caramel and stuff, but if your heat is opened up. So like if you have a nice circular bowl where like this one's a little fanned out, it definitely does take longer to get to temperature because you're not kind of encapsulating your heat. You're opened up. So it's kind of like air conditioning the house with the door open. It's kind of the same thing, or heating it, I should say. So let's see. Alrighty. And I like this Merkins, or I like the wafers for the white chocolate because it's like a perfect white. Whereas the natural chocolate, it's that yellowy tinge, which is fine, but I think this is so much prettier. Let's see. And as you can see, chocolate just takes complete patience. I'll be honest with you. Alrighty. And if you weren't here right now, I'm going to be really very honest with you. I would probably still do my bombs just like this and just move around the chunks of chocolate because that's how impatient I am. So I don't know if everyone else is as impatient as I am, but see how pretty it is? And then if you touch it right here, it's honestly like lukewarm, which I think is kind of amazing that it does stay in this liquid form and it's really not hot. You would think it would be like hot, like it would burn you like caramel, but Caramel is a different little game.
I have a question.
Yeah.
My chocolate's looking like mayonnaise consistency.
Okay.
Just not there yet, or?
It could be past. And I would be honest, for the wafers, I've actually had some bad chocolate, especially in the white department. White, it can be pretty finicky, and it could be a bad batch of chocolate. But you see, the moment it melts, as long as it's melt in a cool fashion like this, it should always go in this way unless it's bad or you went too far. Okay, so it's totally fine. All right, so let's see. So I have these brushes that I put on your thingy because I found that they worked really, really well. And as you see, like I already dipped, so my chocolate will just kind of remelt in there. Hold on, let me just wash it. But I found that they worked out really, really well, and I didn't have any issues with it at all. Let me grab a different one. Have you guys worked with these brushes yet? We'll use blue. Okay. So now that our chocolate is nice and ribbony and liquidy, except for that one little ball of chocolate that we're just not even going to talk about. Let's move this over here. And I'm a lefty, so sometimes I know I can be like a little, like you can't see. But anytime you can't see something, just tell me and I'll fix it. All right. Okay. So I also wanted you to see that I dipped earlier today and they're not perfectly clean. You do not need to clean between popping out your molds. Chocolate is chocolate. One round and then you have to clean. And it comes with a set of 3. So you at least have like a good round that you can do. All right. So what I like to do is I really just dip in the brush and then I paint. And I'm just painting it up. And my first coat, hold on, let me angle this down for you so you really can see. So my first coat, you're still going to be able to see the red through it. And I know that see, I almost forgot about my white and I remembered I turned up the heat. But you're going to still see that you can still see through it. And that's okay because we're going to do 2 coats. I also like the chocolate to be a little bit thinner so that when you're popping out your ball, so when you're putting your ball in for the milk, the 8 ounces is enough to melt it. But if your chocolate is so thick, like let's say you did like 4 layers of it and it's like that thick, 8 ounces of milk it's going to be like McDonald's scorching hot to burn your mouth to try to melt it in time for it to work. So don't be afraid that you might break it. And honestly, if you break your bomb when you pop it out of the shell or anything, you just remelt your chocolate. It can be remelted a billion times. As long as you don't burn your chocolate, you can melt it indefinitely. So, and then I try to, when I'm painting it, I try to come up the whole edges so that I'm kind of trying to create a nice edge for it. So that way when I'm doing my seams, they kind of melt together perfectly to create like a really nice seam. But if for some reason, like I didn't go up high enough on one side, then you're going to have to melt down your bomb so much to try to make that even seam, or else you have a hole in one side. And then your little cocoa powder can spill out. Does anyone have any questions about this at all? No, not yet? Okay.
Melissa?
Yes.
I've been able to find those brushes at my local Dollar Tree for $1.
You are a winner. That is awesome. I'm telling you, I really like them because I feel like the bristles don't fall off. They're very easy to clean. So everybody check your dollar store.
I had
I
a
don't think-
question.
Yes.
Somebody said that their chocolate was like mayonnaise.
Uh-huh.
Are they doing it right now that we could look at it?
No.
Okay.
No, she wasn't doing it right now. It's she was just saying that hers was like mayonnaise at a different time.
Okay. I was just curious to see that.
Yeah, no, I'm doing it now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, turn it around. Let me see.
Let's see.
I had no idea.
I don't know how I think I can get it. Can you see it?
I can see. All right, are you over a double boiler?
Oh, I had my finger over the, yeah,
Oh, is your chocolate on top of the double boiler?
yeah.
Okay.
And it's got a pan under it, so I just have water in there. And then
Yeah.
that's my red, and this is my white.
Is your white liquidy or no?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, so put heat back on it, on one of them, and let's see if it's just not hot enough yet.
Okay.
Because that could possibly be it. Oh, I'm so excited you're doing it with me. I'm not alone.
No.
Anyone else doing it with us?
So, Ann, that could be a good point for you to be able to test it on your arm and see. I mean, I guess test it carefully, make sure it doesn't burn you. But if it's not hot enough, you can test it pretty easily that way.
It's hot.
Is it hot?
Yeah.
Okay, then it's passed. It should be like when I test on my arm, it's like barely my body temperature. It's cool. Do you have any more chocolate?
I do.
All right. Well, so here's what I would do. I would with the one you have going, I would leave that, and then let's try it again, but real slowly. So since your water is already hot, let's put a different bowl on top of the water, but without the heat on. So let's just let the temperature of the water naturally melt the chocolate and see if we can fix that problem while we're talking. And the only thing I want to say is, just because I'm going to throw this in the fridge, as you can see, I'm just holding it like this. So you should have no more chocolate that you can't swing this, and nothing should come out.
Wow.
So I'm going to go throw this in the freezer. I use the freezer only for, just because it's kind of quicker, but you can use the fridge too. You just want it in for a few minutes. But we'll do this while we're waiting for Ann, because I really want to figure out this chocolate issue. So let me throw this in. And I'm going to pull these out while we're waiting for Ann's chocolate. So I'm pretty confident in this. I haven't used these as often as I have like my plastic molds, but if you forget your bombs in the freezer, as I did, I believe they'll still pop out without a problem. So in the event you put your chocolate bomb in the freezer and you left it there too long, and you forgot about it, or you needed to go do something at the market or whatever, it's not like if it's only in there for 3 minutes, you lose it. So these have been in there for 3 days. So I think I'm going to put this right here. Okay. So Ann, did you put the chocolate on? We'll see.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay, so while you're working on that, I'm gonna move the camera, and then we're gonna see if I got my white to the right temperature. But again, I'm not putting this back on the heat, I'm just kind of storing this over here. So let's see what's going on with our white. But
I think Angela is trying to talk. Angela, we're not hearing you. I see that you unmuted.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay.
are you doing them with us, Angela?
I am, yeah.
How's it going? Let's see. Turn your camera on, girlie.
I thought I had it on.
No, I can't. Oh, I can't see you.
So start your video, Angela. There should be a start video or a join video.
I pushed the start video and it's.
Because all we see is a black screen of you. That's why I remuted you. I just didn't want you to pop up and cover the screen while we were going there. Because every time someone talks, they take the stage. So we just got to be mindful of that too.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because her screen is just black. It doesn't say her name on it. So I wonder why her video's not.
Angela, is your screen covered with something? Like maybe a
No,
strip of tape or something?
it's right here. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Is Melissa?
And then my light's on too.
Okay.
Huh. Oh, now I see Angela's name. So now we're okay. But then when she turns her screen back on, it goes back black. So
Yeah. Like the camera is on, but it's not showing what you're seeing. What you're not showing us.
Huh. I'll see if I can figure it out.
okay. All right. How's it going, Anne? Is it going good? And anyone else? So I know Anne and Angela are doing it with us. Anyone else doing it with us?
It's my chocolate's just barely even melting at all. Just a little. small.
Perfect. So what I want you to do is I want you to gently stir it like I was doing while it was barely melted, but you don't have any heat on it. It's just the hot water.
Right.
Yes. So start stirring, and the chocolate that is melted is going to melt the rest of your chocolate. And when you keep stirring it, and if you see that it looks, well, we'll look at it together, but when it looks like still chalky, how mine did, then I went back to the heat.
So she should have the double boiler together, but off the
Together,
heat.
but off the heat. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like this one I used already, I'm going to just like shake it out just to get some of the crumbs out of white chocolate. So it's not like I have like cookies in here. And if you want to turn your camera after you stir a little bit, then I can take a look and see. Oh, look, you're doing purple. Okay, yeah, put it back on, and then let's put the heat on it like low, and watch the clock like nothing more than like 3 minutes, and then let's turn the heat off and stir, and just keep repeating like that. Once you get really comfortable with it, then you'll start to know what to look for, and we won't go past it together.
Melissa, I have a question.
Yes.
Right? You just said Anne's doing purple. I just made a couple bombs that were like frozen themed, so they were the turquoise candy melts. What's gonna, and it has regular hot chocolate in the bombs. What's gonna happen when that gets dissolved in the milk? Is it gonna turn everything blue?
It won't have an overpowering blue color because your chocolate will overpower it, but it might have a tinge of blue to it. But I think your chocolate's gonna go like, so I make the unicorn one, and I didn't buy a white hot chocolate with it. I put sprinkles in it and colored marshmallows, and I could see a hint of color, but the chocolate kind of took over.
Okay, so if somebody buys those, what I'll need to do is just let them know that they might have kind of a blue-brown.
I don't think that, well, I honestly wouldn't let them know. Oh, hello, we see you. I wouldn't, it's kind of common sense. Just like if you order a cake with blue icing, you're gonna have a blue mouth. So I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. And when you post them in the group, because I would love to see them. I think we should all post all of our finished products on the page so that we can see what everyone's done. So I'm gonna just paint. Oh, and Angela, you said you were doing it. What part are you on? Is your chocolate melted? Look at that. See? Good job. I think they're so much fun. They're almost like relaxing. So I'm going to just paint these white ones, which I do think it's so much easier for you guys to see when I paint them with the white against the orange of the mold. But I guess if you had to do like a gazillion of them, after a while, I guess you'd be bored. But sometimes I think it's nice when you get to bake something or make something sweet that doesn't involve your oven. At least that is for me. So I'm just, as you can see, you can completely see through them. You know, it's the first coat. Again, you see I don't have any extra in there, so I can hang it on its side. And then you also see like this chocolate goes a really long way. You can always save your chocolate that you haven't used and remelt it. How's it going, Anne? Is it good? Hopefully Anne's chocolate is behaving this time. We don't want to punish it because it is lavender chocolate.
I opened a new bag because if the other ones was old, then maybe.
Yes, if it's old, it'll do that also. It won't behave, especially with a wafer. I've had that, and that's always a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, not like I haven't used them in a while, but this is just a brand new bag.
There you go. It sounds like these would be so pretty for Easter too. And if you can drizzle in here. And now I have not done, I don't know if anyone has seen the basket tops where they're see-through. We can play around with that tonight. I haven't done them before, but there's no reason why we can't. I'm going to go throw this in the freezer.
The basket ones would be great.
Yeah, I think the basket looks really neat. And then you can also marble these. You know, I know that I've seen a bunch of people do marbled ones. And for that, I would most likely, I think the marbled ones would work best with the harder forms where you swirl it around and then turn it around and dump it and let it marble on its own. But I think you can also paint a marbling into it. So let me switch and get the milk chocolate. Okay, so it hardened up. I'm gonna just paint number 2. And I definitely want to make sure, the most important thing here is, yes, you wanna make sure that you don't see the mold through it, but that I have a really even edge all the way up to the edge, because that's what's gonna make my seam. So that's kind of the most important, is that it's all the way up there. Has anyone made the bombs and had issues with their seams? No? Well, that's good. Yes?
I was making some bombs before the class started, and I forgot to do both halves. And so I had the bottom half it wasn't melted, and so I had a seam problem with one. And what I did was I just took they were pink, and I took some of the pink melted chocolate and just took the brush and went around the equator.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had like some gold sanding sugar, and I put that on the equator.
That's that's super smart. And now you've made it look pretty. I think, and honestly, I think the seam, people get really hooked up on, oh my gosh, is my seam lining up perfectly? And honestly, I don't think it matters. I mean, half the time it's chocolate, you know? I mean, and then if you're gonna drizzle over it, you can always make sure that you drizzle and hit your seam a little extra if you're worried that it's a fragile seam. But I'm sure that was really pretty with the gold sanding sugar. That'd be super pretty.
Melissa, Anne's overheated chocolate, is it too hot to where it won't recover now, do you think?
Now, yeah, once you overheat your chocolate, you can't get it back. So what I would do with the chocolate is, you don't need to toss it. You can absolutely turn it into a ganache, or you can turn it into a drizzle by adding some vegetable oil to it and use it in a different avenue, but not to make a hard snap of a chocolate. All right, I'm gonna go throw this one in the freezer too. All right. Is it melting better, Anne, for you? Is it behaving? I think that's like one of the biggest things. Like once you can fix this problem, you're set for life.
Yeah, I've always had problems with it, but it's not really that much better. I'm trying to hold that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see.
And honestly, you can make it work, and it could just be that brand of chocolate is not behaving.
What brand is
It's Bakerella.
Baker, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I've used Baker, but I'm going to tell you, I think it's just not behaving. I would still use it. It's paintable. It's not seized up. It's just not drippy. So just make sure that when you coat your sphere that you try to make it thinner so that you don't have like a glump.
Okay, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, try it. It's chocolate. I mean, worst case scenarios, we remelt it, make it into something else. But so I make these, I call them my Dairy Queen cupcakes. And what I have is it's a chocolate cupcake, and I do fresh meringue kind of swirled like an ice cream cone. And then I take my chocolate and I put a little vegetable oil in it, and I turn it over and I dip it into it. And then I freeze my meringue first, so then the shell kind of hardens, kind of like magic shell, but it never gets fully hard. So that's always a great use for chocolate when you need to repurpose it. But I've worked with I've worked with chocolate in that type of consistency that Anne has, and you can do it. It's just a little more of a pain in the butt, but it's totally workable. So it's not a crisis. Yes. So we're just going through and painting. Angela, how many have you made so far?
I'm still working on my second coat of the chocolate.
And how's that going for you? Is it all working out?
Well, it would have went a lot better if I remembered to turn the light on.
Well, there you go. That is true.
No, it's going good though.
Oh, good. Perfect. And have you made the bombs before?
No.
See? You are going to be in love with these things. They're fantastic, and they're so much fun. I think there's like so many uses for them. But I do think Easter would be a really good sell for them.
Well, hopefully by then I'll have it perfected.
Oh, I think you'll have it perfected by tomorrow or by the end of this video. You'll be good.
Good.
Professional Angela. Okay. So I've got mine all coated, and I seem pretty happy with them. Again, if I'm not, I'll just redo it. But I'm going to throw these guys in the freezer, and then I'm going to take out some frozen ones, and we're going to talk about popping them out. But we're going to kind of keep repeating the process so that everyone gets really comfortable with it, so it doesn't look like you just kind of see it one time. Hopefully I'll have an epic failure, so then you can see how to fix that too. Which it is very possible for me to have. I do it all the time. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Did I do two? Oh, wait. I need a second coat on this. I don't think I did a second coat. I don't know. Okay. So I'll pop these out, these white ones out. I think I did a second coat on the milk chocolates, but I'll pop these white ones out so we can see. The key is that you can use gloves with it, which is probably best until you get pretty comfortable, because what you really want to try to do is you want to try to, you just kind of pull here and not touch the outside of the shell to get a fingerprint. So like my finger's only on the inside. These things really are so easy. So I'm pulling back and I'm just having my fingers here to stabilize it. And with my fingers underneath, I'm pushing the chocolate up. And then I kind of just roll it off. And you see how you can kind of see through it? I don't know if that's a good one to see. I don't know if you can see because of like shadows, but I can still see through some of these. And I'm not concerned about it. I mean, it's going to do its job. It's going to hold the shell, which is what I want it to do. And I want it to melt pretty quickly. So, and then you can see like my edges. Oh, there you go. That's a good angle. So you can see my edges are a little rough, like a little bit of excess. Oh, almost dropped him. Oh, he's fine. Which is fine because, I know sometimes this white is pretty funky. Here, let me turn another light on. Which is totally fine because when we go and we melt the other chocolate, melt our seams, the extra chocolate we have is always great because it helps with your seam. Oh, see, here's a perfect example. See how I have this little chip right here? That's what you want to try to avoid. And see here, see, look, oh, this guy, he is not as pretty as he should be, which I think is fine. I won't have a big deal with it. That bomb will probably just be melted a little bit more, so he won't be as tall and fluffy as the other ones. But see, okay, good. Like, so these two will be friends because they have not the nicest little edges. But I won't throw him away. Oh, but see, here's a good thing. Here's a good thing to see. So because this is, I'm so glad this happened so you can see it. Because I left these ones in the freezer for so long, look at how he did form a hairline crack. You see? But you also see that little snap? That's how you know your chocolate's tempered. Because you got that little snap. So because he was in, and see what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna throw it right back in there. Because you mess up, it just gets remelted and it gets made again. It's chocolate. It's like the natural eraser of life. So I don't like what this one looks like either. See? Okay. And then I will just let this remelt together. And the heat of my chocolate and the heat of the water below will just completely remelt it, and it's almost gone. Does anyone have any questions about anything so far? Does everyone feel kind of comfortable with where we're at? Okay. So let me go get the other ones, and I'm going to show you. So I know we melted everything and we've painted the shells and all of that. So what I really want to spend time showing you is how we kind of put them together. Because I want to talk about putting them together, and I don't want to get stuck so much on this, but putting them together, the different types of the recipes, and packaging and tags, because I feel like that just finishes the whole thing off. So I'm going to put this right here, and I am going to go grab my milk chocolate spheres, so that way we can kind of put some together and then go through the recipes. Okay. So I think for glare purposes, tell me, I think it might be easier to see these, but I'm gonna still show you the white ones also. I just wanna make sure that everyone can kind of see what's going on. Okay, so let's talk about seams and filling. So for the seams, you want it's no different than your melted chocolate. You want to make sure that you have enough heat on your bowl or however you're going to melt your seam, and you want it to be consistent. So I will take my double boiler, and I personally just turn a bowl over, upside down, right over the hot water. And I wait like a minute, and I can already start feeling it getting warm. And so this will be enough to melt the seams of our chocolate. And then of course, it will stay heated as long as we need it to. So just like everything else. All right, let's talk about, and while we do that, I'm gonna put, let's do pink. I'm gonna put pink wafer. This can get, okay. And we'll melt red, so that way, that would be for our decoration. Okay, so let me go like this so you guys can see. All right, let's see. So we have all of our goodies. I will turn these over so then we can fill them. All righty. Okay, so I'm going to grab the marshmallows, and we'll just start with some basic hot chocolate. I think that's perfect. Does anyone, I know everyone has the stuff, so don't feel like you have to rush or stop what you're doing to go and do, you know, the goodies. But I wanted to be able to show you, oh, see, and now this is hot, which is perfect. Okay, so in my regular plain hot chocolate, I use the double chocolate, which you can use any flavor hot cocoa you want. It just works out. So because the back of the package says 2 tablespoons, I only do 1.5 tablespoons because I account for the chocolate shells the other side. If you are a chocoholic, I say play with the flavors and see, because if you want to do more, but you'll see, let's see, this 1.5 tablespoons fits really nicely. I'm going to bring it up to the camera. Fits really nicely in the 1/2. And then just so you know, I just want everyone to understand, you see how I mess up. So I'm going to go pour this back in because I forgot to melt my seam. Just like, who just told me that they did that? Okay, so look, we did it too. So then I refill it in here, and then I add marshmallows. I just add a handful of marshmallows. I mean, I really don't measure it. I just, oh, hey, that looks good. I heat my other side and swirl it around, and then I just put it together, and the seam adheres. See? And you're done. Okay.
Do you
Let's-
have to put pressure on the chocolates to seal it, the 2 shells?
No, because I just, well, I don't push overly hard. I just push enough that they come together, because when you heated your bottom, it's still going to stay warm and liquidy, and so I just kind of gently put them together. So, but I'll do it again, and I'll lift it high so you can see it. Oh man, I did it again. All right. So here, let me melt. How's your, yeah, I did it again. All right. So as you can see the edges are still a little liquidy. I'll add the marshmallow. Okay. And then I will take my other side, and then I will just put it together ever so gently, just so they touch. That's it. Okay. Let's do another one. And then we'll move to another flavor. But then I have to mark my paper. So I am a huge parchment paper person. I live by it. I bake on. Man, I did it again. All right, as you can see, me talking and doing. All right, melt the chocolate. But you see, you can mess up with it and have a good time. It's totally fine. And then I'll pour it back in here. And then I'll melt this side. All right, ladies, remind me to melt my chocolate. All right. And then I put my seam together. So have fun with it. I mean, if you mess up, as you've seen, I've messed up with all 3 of them. Okay. But what I was saying was, is I'm a huge parchment person. I bake on it. All my cookies are baked on it. And then it makes it easy because you can write on it. So I will write milk right here so that I know these 3 are milk chocolate. Okay. Now let's move to, let's do caramel. That sounds like a good idea. So it was on there. I found these Hershey salted caramel chips. They're really nice and they smell great. So I don't know if anyone's gotten them, but I really, really did enjoy them. All right. And then I did remember. So I'm going to heat my chocolate. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to steal my measuring cup spoon. And this is a 1.5 tablespoon measuring. So there goes my caramel. And then I will add some caramel chips. Again, I just eyeball it. You know, it's kind of like whatever, you know, you can't go wrong. I do add marshmallows because I feel like hot cocoa is not hot cocoa without marshmallows. And then I steal it. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you. When I turn him around, he has a little hole. I don't care. If you care. But I am actually doing mine. Come with me, I shall show you. I am selling mine this year in these cups. So as you see, they're already dropped in. They're dropped in, they have a straw. So they're not being transported. So all they have to do is pour their hot milk right over it and they're set. But you can also put them in the cups, but we'll go through packaging. So hold on, let's make a couple more flavors. Does anyone have any questions so far?
Melissa, could you review the caramel flavorings that you used?
Yeah.
You just did.
I'm gonna do it again too. So I used the caramel Ghirardelli hot cocoa, and then I used these Hershey's. I found them at Walmart, Target, grocery store. It's I think it's the sea salt caramel baking chips. It's also on the event page. There's pictures of it too. So I am going to write caramel right here. So I know this row is caramel. Okay, let's make another caramel together. Just so we can kind of keep making some of these stuff. So I'm going to heat my edge and see how, because I put it over the double boiler, I am not worried that my bowl is ever gonna get cold. I did see some people on a different, in a different group talk about like using like a hot plate. I think as long as you use anything that can maintain the temperature, you're fine. But for me, because I've already melted my chocolate, I already had this already ready. So it was kind of just a dual purpose use. And so it just kind of made sense. But as you can see, once you start going, they just really kind of keep going. All right. Let's make one of my other favorites is the Mexican hot chocolate. So I really like this, especially if you like a little bit of heat. It will work for you. So let's see. We're gonna take this.
It looked like Anne had some ready. If she's able to show us one, looked like she held one up.
Anne, have you made one yet?
Yeah, the purple ones kind of turned out, a couple of them. I get that camera on. You're a lot better at this than me.
No, but honestly, remember, Anne, the inside, no one sees it. So who cares what it looks like? You're only going to see the outside, and your outside looks perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect,
the edges
perfect.
are like really rough. The edges are really rough. Hey, they're round.
So the Mexican hot chocolate just has cayenne and cinnamon. And it's really like enough where you kind of feel the heat in the back of your throat. But oh man, and I smell it. So good. But and start putting put a bomb together. I want to see it go together. Your shells are gorgeous. Mexican. Hot. Okay. One of I think my biggest flavors so far. Oh, let's make it. Oh, we'll make a I'm gonna make a unicorn with the white one, and I'm gonna show you the Oreo. But we can do a cinnamon mocha. I think my biggest two sellers this year were. I think I have milk chocolate was the biggest, and then cookies and cream, salted caramel, and chocolate mint were like the top ones, which is to be expected. I mean, everyone likes that.
Hey, Melissa,
Yes,
did you put cinnamon in that Mexican hot chocolate one also?
it did. So I used cinnamon and I used cayenne.
Just a little sprinkle of each.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah. Super good. I like, yeah. Okay, so let's do, and I'll show you the mint. So for the mint, I ran out of Andes, but I've used this also. Oh my God. I think mint is one of my favorite flavors. I've used this one also. It's Guitards green mint baking chips. I honestly found it at Walmart, but it smells heavenly. But you can use Andes. You can cut up the peppermint patties. I also have these. I found to play with these also. So play around with it. I mean, you can put any candy bar in it, Snickers, Twix. Really, the sky is kind of the limit with these things. I don't think you can go wrong with a flavor. All right, let's see. This one gets. And this I like this Ghirardelli because I found that it has such a nice strong flavor, and it doesn't just, get lost in your cup where your cup just is, brown liquidy. Okay, that was a pretty bad shell. All right.
Melissa, you didn't melt the bottom one.
I did melt it. You didn't see me. I did, but thank you because, gosh, you can see, man, tonight I am like not my night. All right, mint.
My bottom either.
Huh? Did you forget?
My bottom.
See? I'm telling you. But you see, you just pour it out because I've had to pour it out like 5 times. But see here, okay, here's another hole, but I'm still going to use it because I don't care. So here, I'm going to melt it. And I'll melt it down a little bit. This one's gonna be rough. I might have to give this one to my kids. All right, and then we'll go and we'll do. See, I almost forgot my red. Okay, so we'll do this. We'll do mint. I feel like this is so much fun because I feel like you just kind of throw stuff in it. It's like, what is that? Put inside. Put inside. All right, let me keep this one. And I'm going to tell you something. The best idea I had was these mugs because they hide a multitude of errors. So your bottom has a little issue or you don't like the way your seam looks, you can't see it in these cups. Kind of was so far was one of my best moves. All right, I'm going to move these over right now for a second. Because I'm going to.
Do you find that you're selling them as well that way? It would seem like it would be less interesting.
For what? In the cup?
Yeah.
No, actually, I'm selling them more because of it. And here's the biggest one is I have so many people that are shipping them to their college kids because the kids don't have to have a mug in their dorm. It's already ready for it to go. And people love the idea. It's easy to take to work to give as a gift. It's all inclusive. So people are actually, they've gone nuts with the fact of me offering it like this. And I only offered it because I thought, not because to hide the sin, that was just kind of like a good side effect. I offered it because I thought this was so easy where people get confused, which mug can I use, which one doesn't. And then I said, well, you know what? Instead of being wasteful with me putting it in a pretty box in a baking cup, and someone has to dirty a mug, I figured, you know what? I'll have the wrapping be the container for it. And people, I'll tell you how I sold it, because when I first made all of my sales, I told them that they were going to be wrapped in a box with a ribbon. And then I decided to do this, and I sold it as I decided to upgrade everyone. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, that is a great idea. Thank you for upgrading me. So they kind of thought they were getting a good feature that they didn't have to pay for. So
for me, when I think about it as a parent, buying them for my kids, let's say I have 3 kids and I want to buy one for all 3, I don't wash 3 mugs.
Exactly.
Fight over which kid's going to get which mug. It's just, for me, I think that's the beauty of it too.
Yes. Now, here's the one thing I want to say about this chocolate that I just had. As you saw, I just took it off the double boiler because I forgot it and my water got too hot. So if I removed all of it and left, I caught it just in time. But if I left it on the water, you saw the steam, that water was going to seize the chocolate. So I've taken it off and I've left my water uncovered so it can cool a little before I then go put it back on. That was lucky. Very lucky. Okay. So when I decorate, because we'll talk about decorating and then I'll move over back to the white ones because we can just talk about it. I use piping bags, but you can use Ziploc bags. And I know I showed both those in the class. But tonight I'm going to use a piping bag because I forgot to bring one into this kitchen from the other kitchen. So we will throw these in a piping bag and then I'll show you how I drizzle it. And then I have sprinkles that I honestly made. And here's how I made them. I bought a jar of like the Wilton little hearts. And then I buy my other sprinkles in bulk. So and I know like some stores like Party City and I think some Walmarts, but some of them have the sprinkles are separated by color. And I just mix all my colors together. But you can also do it that if you can find a bunch of different Valentine or whatever your holiday, like Wilton will also sell those like dispensers with the different ones and they're all friends. You can mix them all together and then you get like a nice little kind of assortment. Okay, let's grab a piping bag.
Angela, you doing okay over there? I see you looking at us.
Have you filled one yet, Angela?
Yes, I filled 4.
Let's see them.
This was my first one, but
He looks perfect. Look how pretty.
this one came out really nice.
Oh, that's beautiful. See? Perfect. So pretty. Okay. So when I drizzle the chocolate, I put it in a piping bag, but again, like I said, you can put it in a Ziploc and then you just cut one edge of the tip and try not to like have it overflow the way I did.
Melissa,
Yeah.
is there any chance that you've got any edible gold leaf there in the kitchen?
I do.
Could you show us how to apply to just one after you drizzle?
Yes.
Thanks.
And that as long as you promise to stay with me while I find it. But I know I have it. I think I know where it is. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So I don't know if you guys have worked with these tipless bags. I only use them now. I'll use regular bags with tips if I have to do like a certain pattern or design, but with all my buttercream and royal icing cookies, everything, and cake, I do these. So if you're ever interested in using them, they're fantastic. But the number one trick is you will always see a seam. And when you cut your bag, you have the seam perfectly on top and you squeeze the edge and you will create a perfect circle to have a round opening. If you cut it the other way, you will start to get like a leaf, almost, you can make yourself like a leaf tip. All right. So for the drizzling, honestly, the chocolate's gonna fall, so you have to kind of just go back and forth. But the chocolate, it's not like, you know, like buttercream or something where, see, look at how he gunked up. Okay. Where you have to apply a lot of pressure because he just naturally wants to fall. And you can kind of do any designs you want. You can try to decide that one flavor is going to be one color, another flavor is going to be another color, and then that's kind of your way that you know in your mind. So this one's caramel, this one's salted caramel. So I will honestly probably put a couple caramel chips on top as well as decoration. And so the mint, I did that also, and then I knew that that was my mint. So you can decorate them like Oreo. I'll end up putting Oreos on top. Regular milk chocolate, if it wasn't Valentine's, I would probably just put marshmallows on top. It's kind of like really, it doesn't really make a difference. Here, I'll do the mint, and then I'll do the mint chips on top. But you can also go both ways and make the pattern that way. Okay, so let's see. I'll put these little mints on, and they'll adhere because of your hot chocolate, they adhere. And then I'm gonna take the camera and move you in so that you guys can get like a good view of these little babies. See, look, it's like in minutes, it's like professional. Okay. I believe my gold leaf is right over here. So, Anne, have you put anything together yet? I'm gonna let them see. It's right here. Anne, I found it. Let me get a brush. Okay. All righty. Let's open this up. All righty. I'm very impressed that I knew where that was.
But that one, when I held it, it's squished in. So maybe it's, I don't know, just too thin.
But honestly, you're gonna drizzle and you're gonna put decoration on top. I wouldn't just get rid of it.
No.
I'd say it's a win.
Oh no, it's gonna get tried by somebody.
Someone is gonna enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah. Personally, I would never use the gold leaf on this. I would do a gold paint on it, but the gold leaf is so flippin' expensive. You know what I mean? Okay, let's see. Oh, and it's so fragile. Okay, come here, little girl. All right, let's get one page out. Okay. I'm gonna go like that. All right. All right, so here is the gold leaf. It literally like blows in the wind, but you can pull it. It's so fragile. You can pull it off with like a paintbrush, as you can see. And then I'm gonna lift this guy up to the camera. You would just gently let it go. And then you can, with your paintbrush, gently push it down. And if you wanted to apply it. Now, personally, if you want to see me to paint it, I'll show you to paint it. Let me get that instead. Because I think that is way prettier. Come with me so you're not lonely. Okay. So the painting it is definitely way better. Let's put that here. All right. So for me to paint, whenever I paint, I use Everclear. You can use vodka. You can use lemon juice, lemon extract. But I always used vodka until Everclear was available in my area. But I know a lot of areas don't have it. I buy the cheapest. Let me put this back. I buy the cheapest vodka that you can if you're going to use it, but I definitely recommend the Everclear. So let me get a little bowl. Let me put you right here. Okay. Let's clean up our area here. Okay, so I actually have in my gold, because I paint a lot, I have one of these huge things that I leave kind of mixed with Everclear, and one of them that is a straight dust, and I leave it in a powder form. So as you can see, it's really thick. That's kind of the consistency you want. Okay, so here you go. We'll kind of just do a shell because I don't have it. If I was gonna paint it, I would just go across. And so when you see them, that's what it is. That was kind of it. But you can do whatever patterns you want, but you would just paint it.
All right, Melissa, what's the bottle that you started with?
Oh.
What is that?
Oh, this. It is Ideal Color Powder. So I know there's a ton of different ones out there. The number one key, no matter what you end up getting, is when you mix it, you want it to be nice and thick. So when you see people painting and then you can see through the gold and through it, it's because they have diluted it too much. So here's what will happen. So look, I'll show you what it looks like if I dilute it. And I'm gonna, so let's overlay. And then here's also the other beauty. Because I am mixing it with an alcohol, as long as I leave it uncovered, it will reconstitute right back to a powder. So now here's what it'll look like if I, when I overdid it. See how runny? See how you can see through it, but then you see this one and how this one looks solid, and this one looks, you can see the chocolate. So that's how you know if you've added too much alcohol. So always nice and thick to paint. Now, when this melts in hot cocoa, you will still see the gold. The gold will kind of float around. All right. Hopefully that helped you. Okay, so I will put this here. All right, let's talk about packaging because we're kind of close to the end here. So I'm going to bring you over here so that it's kind of a clear area. So I actually bought straws also, and I cut my straw because I'm just kind of that person. I felt like the straw was just so tall. I didn't like it, so I cut it. And I'm a big person that likes to wrap stuff, so I actually wrap it in a clear plastic. The other thing is, let me grab one that you can see, is that you can also put them in a cute cupcake wrapper. It's just a regular standard wrapper, and you can wrap it in a box. So I really think there's no right or wrong way to do it. The other thing I did was I made tags, and I printed these myself. I went and I bought the business card. I'll show it to you. So I always print, whenever someone wants kind of a tag, I have these from Avery. They're like the printable business cards. And so I will go onto Avery's website and they had this Be Mine already there. And then I just wrote hot chocolate bombs. I wrote the flavor, and then I made a cute PSS, just pour 8 ounces of milk, then stir and sip. But you kind of do whatever you want, but they're really, it's so Avery, so free. It's free and it's easy. And then you can kind of print them at home, and it's kind of good like that. Does anyone have any other questions?
So do we store them just like in whatever we package them in, and they'll be fine?
They'll be
At room
fine.
temperature?
I did store mine in the fridge. One, it was out of, I have an extra fridge, so it was out of the way. They don't need to be stored in the fridge though. So you can package them and put them on your counter and ready for pickups or whatever, and they can just sit there. Because again, remember, it's just chocolate,
Right.
cocoa powder and stuff. So, and your marshmallows are sealed inside a case of chocolate. So even if they got a little hard, when the hot milk came through, it'll melt them.
Okay.
Do you have one that's already packaged so we could see what it looks like, the cup?
No, but I'll package it right now for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do love wrapping things. My husband laughs at me. So I'll wrap like my trays and stuff with goodies. I'll wrap. So it's kind of like, as long as you're comfortable wrapping. I do think that there are places you can buy pre-cut squares, but I think it starts getting like really expensive. And your key is the least amount of cost. So I will go like this.
So Melissa, this is cellophane?
This is what?
Is this cellophane?
It's just
rather
cellophane.
than plastic wrap?
Yeah, just cellophane. You know, so this is cookies and cream. Okay, well, I'll pretend. So I punch a hole in my little thingy.
And since this is the cookies and cream and we didn't make one, what's inside that bomb?
So this bomb, which I didn't get to it yet, this bomb was a vanilla, a white chocolate shell. It is the hot cocoa powder, and then it's just crushed Oreos. And that's it. And that will give you the whole Oreo flavor. But it is on the recipe. That recipe, it's all on the page, all those recipes.
Where do you get your cellophane and cups and straws?
So the cellophane I get locally. Like, I think I bought this cellophane at Party City or Target. The cups, I did buy them online from a frozen yogurt company, but I had to buy 500 of them. So I do believe on Amazon they sell smaller quantities. I just figured, I went black because I felt like it was kind of gender neutral so that the guys didn't feel like it was too frilly. And then I felt like I could use it all year long and change the theme based on with the ribbon and the straws. And the straws came from them too, but I know you can buy the straws at Party City and Walmart, Target in the little gift, in the little like party aisle, because I've had to buy them for like baby shower, Rice Krispie treats and stuff. So it looks just like that.
Cute.
It's super cute and it makes it super easy. I had a couple people already pick them up and they shipped them out to their college students. They were like over the moon excited. So these are the cups I actually ordered, which I was nervous, is a 10-ounce cup. I did pour 8 ounces of milk in it and it came up to right about here on the cup. So it was definitely enough room. I think if I went again, I would probably get the 12-ounce just in case people overpour. So they came in and I went, womp womp. Oops. Yes. But this was so much fun. I hope everyone loves their bombs. And just so everyone remembers that oh, look at that. It looks great. I love it. Perfect. Remember that the video is going to be on the event page, so you always have access to it. I am around in the home. I'm on both pages. So you have a question, you're stuck or whatever, please reach out. I'm always around and available to help you guys. So, but I did have a lot of fun. And post your finished ones. I can't wait to see them decorated and boxed.
Hey, Melissa. Hey, Melissa.
Yes.
Do you think Anne should get a different type of chocolate before the cake pops tutorial?
Yes, because you're gonna really want your chocolate to be ribbony for dipping with Christy, because that will glump up. So try a different brand and see if that works better for you. But you're not doing anything wrong. I think it was really the chocolate.
What about bark? The chocolate bark?
The almond bark?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, you can absolutely use that. Christy, does that work well for your cake pops?
Yes, I use it often, and I like it a lot, for sure.
Okay, because I have some of that.
Yes.
Perfect.
So I have one quick question. You had mentioned that we could market these for like adults and coffee.
Yes.
And I'm not a coffee drinker. So what kind of drink, this sounds stupid, but what kind of coffee drink uses chocolate? Like how would you market that?
Well, okay, so you could turn it into a mocha, because the coffee is what makes coffee and chocolate make a mocha. So that's your mocha. Any of it you can add coffee to, because remember, well, not remember because you're not a coffee drinker, but all of the creamers that you buy, they're all flavored, different flavors. There's coconut, there's cinnamon bun, there's all sorts of stuff. So essentially all these flavors of bombs become like the creamer of your coffee. So you would have cookies and cream, essentially kind of like creamer in your coffee. So I market it for any of them, could be mixed with coffee.
So that's a great idea to get some recipes, is to actually look at some actual creamer recipes and start there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a coffee drinker, and I think it sounds amazing.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Melissa,
yeah,
I was able to find some French vanilla cappuccino powder,
mm-hmm.
and I was making bombs with the white chocolate for those.
That sounds delicious. How was it?
Haven't tasted it yet.
Okay, we'll keep it posted because it sounds so good. I love that stuff. I think there's just, honestly, I think that you can take this to the adult side, and then you can take it to the full kid side with candy bars and stuff. And then remember for next year, because when you have all that leftover Halloween candy, you can start turning that stuff into your bombs for Christmas. I just came up with that. Shh, don't tell anybody. I think that was like a fantastic idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, all right. Well, this was fantastic. I had such a good time. Again, if anybody has any questions or needs help, reach out. And I'm so excited because I know on Sunday we have Christy's Cake Pop class. So we have a couple of you signed up for that. If anyone else is looking to sign up, she is completely amazing with these cake pops. So you will not be bored, and you will be very happy with your outcome. So definitely sign up for that. And I don't know if we have any other announcements. Christy, do we have anything else?
Tuesday,
Yeah.
I will be doing a build a website shop. So you guys are welcome to join that. It's a free event. Just going to show you a builder that we have been sponsored with and put together a website if you don't have one.
Good. That's a great thing. I know a lot of people talk about that. One thing I wanted to say was that if you like the class, if it's something.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I forgot. But here's what we're going to do. And I think this is so fun. If you enjoyed the class, which you know you did because it was fantastic. But if you enjoyed the class, and you could go on to our We Are Home Business Bakers page and say how much you love the class, we're going to take everyone's name who wrote how much they loved it and put it in a pile, and you get your next class free that you want to sign up for. Oh. We'll put like a drawing, but we'll have the drawing on the home baker side. So it'd be like hush hush. Oh, I'm so
Wait a
excited.
minute. Wait a
Yes.
minute. I just paid for the next 2 classes.
Then you'll get a refund of $10.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. So, yes. So we'll draw a winner and then we will announce it. So hopefully everyone enjoyed it. And then if there were things that you really want to see us talk about, or there was parts of the class where we're like, I didn't like that, tell me, because we will, you know what, we're here to help you and move you along your baking journey. And we want to make sure that it works the best for everyone. So if you have criticism or critiques, please share. And if you have love, share it everywhere. She's beautiful. Good job. All right. I'm going to say goodnight. Are you good, Christy?
I'm good. I just hope everybody posts their finished product in the site, because I think that would be super cool.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking the class.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good night,
Thank you,
everyone.
Melissa. Thank you,
Thank
Christy.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome.